Hello guys, here today I am going to review Saints Row 4 Re-elected for the PS4. I don't, well I do got Saints Row Gat out of Hell, but I haven't really tested it yet. I really want to get through of beating this game first before I move on to Gat out of Hell. Gat out of Hell will actually be a experience for the first time blind. I have never played Gat Out of Hell, but I have played Saints Row 4 on the PS3. And yes, this is being edited by SHAREfactory on PlayStation, because I find editing clips anywhere else really hard. I don't have Sony Vegas or anything like that, so you're gonna have to cope with it. PlayStation Share is not that bad besides the little pop-up, so just deal with it. Anyways, Saints Row 4. When was the last time I played this game exactly? Well, it's been the last time I ordered the DLC called The Saints Save Christmas. That was actually an amazing DLC. And at the moment, I really don't see the Saints Row Save Christmas DLC in this pack. You see, when you ordered the Re-elected edition, not only are you getting amazing graphics, but you're getting the majority of DLC that was in the game. Now, I rebought this game for a lot of reasons. Mostly because I've had this game back in, back in 2013 when I had my German Shepherd still, and I could just remember the good old days with my standard HD TV. In other words, it only held 1080i and not 1080p, so I had to put it to 720p. And I always had to just lay on the bed with my head tilted, just look at the screen. And my German Shepherd would be on the bed just looking at me and just looking at anything actually. You know, those were the good old days. And to revisit those days, it's actually pretty good. People say to not buy the remastered edition of anything because it's a ripoff. But personally, I don't find it a ripoff because the PS3 version of the disc broke because I was trying to nudge it out of the case so hard I accidentally cracked it where the finger slot is. That made the game very unplayable at all. It was impossible to get the game to run. At one point I was really deciding to buy Saints Row 4 on the PS3 again. But I was like, nah, I don't have enough money and it's not that big of a deal. It is fun, but it's not that big of a deal. And I'm glad that I waited because now that they made it for the PS4 Re-elected, I get to have the same amount of fun I used to have, but on the PS4 version with way better graphics. You won't be able to tell because this is on a 720p capture card from the PlayStation Share. It doesn't hold full 1080p, but I can tell you right now that when you actually see this game on whatever you have, as long as it's HD, smart IPS panels, and smart coloring, as long as you have that stuff, you'll see how beautiful it is. This game, it's actually really hard to explain. You know, I'm enjoying this game the way it looks on my monitor. And I've already explained it before that monitors, gaming monitors in general, can do a pretty decent job at looking at, just looking at the graphics right now. They do a really good job at exposing stuff. Where on TVs, I already mentioned it before, you have to spend literally thousands on a TV to just get it to run well. At least as well as I'm getting it to run. Anyways, the activities are there, it's all there, and it gets the job done for fun. It's not too much of a hard competitive game like Grand Theft Auto, or Grand Theft Auto 5, or Grand Theft Auto Online. You actually have to try so hard to kill the enemy. You have to hide behind booths so you don't get shot in 5 seconds flat, or 3 seconds flat, depends on what gun they have. In Saints Row, you can just run all over the place, shoot everyone you want to. It's just a good time to just get into shootouts. I get so interactive with the shootouts, I almost forget that I have superpowers. In Saints Row 4 on the PS3 version, I almost never used my superpowers. It was rare. Only time I used my superpowers was when I was getting into a fight with a warden. But, you know, now I know that I have superpowers, and I frequently try to upgrade them as much as I can, to use buff blast, to use the fire, to use telekinesis. I just try to upgrade a lot of stuff. The most upgradable one I want is the sprint, to get places faster if I don't have a vehicle. But when it all comes down to it, I think this game is done. I think that if Rockstar Games would have tried to make their game like this, to where you just run around and have fun, they had a chance to fix it, but they didn't. The game is still to where you get shot and killed in 5 seconds. The AI have auto aim. In other words, the AI will shoot you and every bullet that comes out of their gun, whether they're a gang member, whether they're a countryman and somewhere in the farms, rather they're police, rather they're military, they're all gonna have perfect non-missable aiming, like they're aiming through a sniper scope, and they're all gonna kill you in GTA Online, leading to firefights being impossible. What does that mean? Well, that means that the reason why is because GTA 5 has to rely on auto aim, and auto aim has to be to where you snap on to a target and lock on them, and reticule on the body doesn't go anywhere, just 2 trigger mashes. And since there's 2 trigger mashes, that means that the trigger mashers can just pop out and kill anything in 2 seconds. Well, Rockstar tried to compete with that and make the AI also have the same exact auto aiming. So the auto aiming method, even if you're in free aim, it's still gonna exist. And it's really annoying when you try to get headshots, because every time you pop out, as soon as you pop out, you get shot at and your health's down and you have to recover. So yeah, Saints Row has a different mechanic, meaning that when you shoot, you're basically shooting free aim. You do have a soft lock, then I do find that an issue, since most Saints Row games back in the day did not have that. Even Saints Row the Third did not have auto lock. I guess it's just something they're trying to point out to the casuals. But then again, they got as much hype as they did before in the other series, and they didn't have auto lock and snap target, so I don't see why they have to have it now. But you know, they're the developers, not me. So the amount of crazy stuff you can do in this game, I used to not like it, but then when I see it, I'm like, this is just fun. You know, you gotta be appreciated, because you're not gonna see people make games like this at all. When was the last time you seen a game like Saints Row 4? To where you're just punching aliens, using dildo bats to kill them, and just using different kinds of vehicles like the Dominatrix tank and like stuff like that. A dildo launcher, whatever that thing was. You just have to appreciate it and look at it at a different standpoint like I do. And even if I didn't look at it at a different standpoint, this game is still goddamn fun. Just look at this. I haven't had as much fun like this in a long time. So getting this game, I will start playing on it more. Do I think this game is better than GTA 5? Yes, I do think it's better than GTA 5 because of the fact of how I get to do whatever I want to without suffering consequences. Where in GTA 5, it feels like I always have to just work and grind to get anywhere, and if I don't, I'm stuck with nothing. Grand Theft Auto 5 just feels like a hell game. Just, you can't do anything. And every time you try to find a fun thing to do, Rockstar Games always patches it. So, this game is much more fun. It just makes me feel more free to do what I want to. Is the city good? No, the city is not good. I wish the city in this game was better. And by the looks of Gat Out of Hell, it's worse. But for some reason, just shooting people alone just works in this game. I remember the first time I started playing Saints Row was back in the old days in 2009, when Ultraneko, which was a girl that did gaming, she was pretty much a better version of PewDiePie, and she did reviews with a face cam as she played the gameplay. She was really hardcore. In other words, she wasn't girly at all, and she was just a fun person to watch. And watching her play Saints Row made me want to get Saints Row, because not only did I like her reviews, I liked the way the gameplay looked. And that's when I decided to get Saints Row. Now, when I first got Saints Row, I cheated the hell out of the game. I remember back in the days, I used to just use cheat, infinite health, infinite ammo. And just recently, 2 years ago, I beat this game. Saint, I beat Saints Row 2 without cheats. Saints Row 4, yeah, I beat that without cheats. Saints Row 3, no, I didn't beat that without cheats. Because back in those days, I wasn't really a competitive gamer. I just gamed for the fun of it, and cheating was fun to me. But what does it all come down to? We already discussed the gameplay mechanics on how fun they are, and how it breaks away from reality to let you do and accomplish more stuff. Now, what makes it special? Well, I think I already mentioned that too. That nobody else tries this type of stuff. You know, look at Destiny. Destiny tries to lead towards that sort of alien type of thing, but then it's stuck to just one type of gene, which is first-person shooter. You're not running around hitting aliens with a dildo and throwing aliens in the water with superpowers and just blowing up alien ships with ice cubes. You're not running around in a gimp outfit shooting laser pistols. You know, you're not going to find another game like that. So, I think the fact that Saints Row stands out of it all, and the stuff you can do in the game, is what makes it special. And when it comes to graphics in this hand, I will have to admit, the graphics do make the majority of this game, from what I see. I played the PS3 version for a while to get the feeling of it, and I had to say, I wouldn't go back to the PS3 version. My bad. I wouldn't go back to the PS3 version because of the fact that, well, everything looks a little blurry. Everything just looks dried out. It's just, this version looks better. And I'm starting to see that with remake of games. You know, when they remake my favorite games, like Grand Theft Auto 5 and this game, it makes me think to myself, if they were to remake Red Dead Redemption, or remake any of the Turok series, like Turok 1 to 3, then I'm pretty sure I would choose those versions over the versions they had back then. Even Donkey Kong 64, if they remade that, but put the same gameplay mechanics and same plot, I would rather like that game than the old one. But then again, maybe not. It depends on how cartoonish they would keep it. Because in Saints Row 4, everything just looks crisper. And the lighting effects from the laser beams and all the lights, they're meant for this game. So, yes, graphics do mean something in this game because it shows more of the alien element that Saints Row 4 on the PS3, for me at least, didn't show. The graphics look nowhere near this. As you can see in the footage of the Raptor. That's what I was talking about earlier, is that they break the fourth wall with crazy stuff. In other words, you could see the fact that the graphics do look way better. You can see the draw distance looks better. Everything about this game just looks better. And if you've seen the teaser that Saints Row, the channel, has put out, when they say more pixels, they didn't really explain it that well. This game does have more pixels, but in a way to where it looks better. They just didn't retexture everything. And I feel that they should have advertised it the way it looks. It looks way much better than what they put. So, I guess that's about it. Do I recommend buying this game? Well, if you already have it on PS3, I can't really say for sure. Because, you know, it's pretty much the same thing. Just all the DLC. But if you had it on PS3 or Xbox 360 and you want to move on and get it again, then go for it. It's just as fun as you remembered it, with better graphics. Peace. I am out.